Hey there guys, how y'all doing? Today we are going to be doing a 100-hour service on a set of 2015 Yamaha F150 XB 4-strokes. Alright, like we do on all 4-stroke engines, we want to tilt the engine up for a few minutes to let the oil drain into the pan. We will then take the 14mm drain plug out of the port here on the back of the engine, stick a bilge hose or rubber hose in here and trim the engine down to allow the oil to drain into a bucket. There is a washer on the drain plug. They tend to stick on the engine. Just make sure that it doesn't fall out and get lost. Next, we want to change the oil filter. I prefer a filter wrench like this one here. For these filters, it makes it really easy. Once you get the filter loose, slow down and look for oil as you spin it off. If you see oil start to come out, lightly tighten it back up and let the oil drain out of the filter. Then clean the surface here, and when you put the new filter on, apply some clean oil or a little grease to the O-ring on the filter, then tightly hand tighten it. When we change this fuel filter here, make sure you unplug the water sensor first so it doesn't twist and break. You want to get the right filter wrench to take the cup off. Moto Stop makes a really nice one. And when you put the filter on, apply a little grease and be careful not to cross thread it. If you can't get the thread started, turn it counterclockwise until you feel it fall into the first thread, then hand tighten it only. Next up is the thermostat. There are 3 bolts holding the plastic covers on, 1 on the top and 2 on the side. There are 3 bolts on the thermostat housing. As you can see, this thermostat is stuck open. Once you pull it out, make sure you clean inside here with a knife or something before you put the new thermostat and gasket on. And like always, grease up your bolts. Now next up are the spark plugs. This back shroud just pulls off of here. If the plug wires won't come off, try twisting them either clockwise or counterclockwise while pulling. You will need a 5/8 inch socket to remove the plugs. After changing or cleaning the plugs and reinstalling them, we'll change the boat fuel filter. They are usually in a very easily accessible location, like here on this catamaran, under this seat, in this massive access hole, and right back there in the corner. Alright, now check the anodes. One here on the lower unit, then there is this one here on the engine bracket. If they are pitted and falling apart, change them. I recommend pulling the bolts out and greasing them either way. Then grease all of the steering grease points. There are 5 in total. The ones in the front, you will have to turn the engine to get the steering cylinder out of the way. We want to remove the prop to pull the lower unit. Remove the cotter pin and this 1 1/16 inch nut. Use a piece of wood between the prop and the anti-cavitation plate to hold the prop shaft in place. Then remove the trim fin anode, which is a 12mm bolt. There's a 14mm bolt under the anode. Then there are 6 14mm bolts along the side, 3 on each side. I will put a link in the description for the lower unit service, but if your impeller looks like this, there may be other issues needing to be addressed. Before you put the lower unit on, grease the splines on the drive shaft, shift shaft, pitot nozzle, water tube, the locating pins, and make sure it is in neutral. Then have a greased bolt and a 14mm where you can reach them. Put the lower unit up until you hit the drive shaft. Slowly twist it back and forth until you feel the splines slide up into the power head. Then pull it back just a little bit and line up the shift shaft and put it back up. Put that 1 bolt in that we had ready, but don't tighten it all the way up. Put the engine in gear and make sure it shifts before inserting all of the bolts and torquing them down. Note that for twin engines there is an L stamped under the anode here for a counter rotation gear case. Grease up the prop shaft, put on the thrust washer, and then grease it and the rest of the prop shaft. Then don't forget the cotter pin. Carefully add the oil and check it about 1 quart before you get to the recommended oil amount. You want the oil level to be towards the upper section of the middle of the 2 holes on the dipstick. And that's it, guys. That is how you perform a 100-hour service or an annual service on a 2015 F150 XB Yamaha engine. I hope the video helped get you through your service. If it helped you out, hit the like button, then make sure you're subscribed to the channel where we cover all things technical in the marine industry. If there is something we can help you get done, leave a comment in the comment section below and we'll see if we can help you out. Now, happy boating, and we'll see you out on the water.